I had a real old Swiss pocket watch brought in the shop several days ago. It's what is called an unbranded movement, meaning the maker didn't put their name on the movement. It is, however, what I believe to be an early Patek Philippe. It has all the design characteristics and quality of this maker. Early Patek Philippe watches were not signed, and this is definitely a very early Swiss watch of this period. It has some silversmith markings I'd like to take a closer look at on the inside of the back cover. This stamp of a grouse is a Swiss mark. It's a Swiss fineness mark for silver of what is called 80% fineness. On the left is 0.800. It's 800 parts per thousand, pure silver. This nice battle knight holding a spear on a horse is the silversmith's trademark. I don't know who this trademark belongs to. Now this stamp is an English fineness mark. I believe this watch case got this English stamp when it was approved for import in Britain. This watch was most likely made in Switzerland, then sent to Britain to be sold in some jewelry store. On the bottom is this trademark of a crest, with what appears to look like a combined XL, and the case serial number of 43902. The movement is a key wind and key set. Very nice design. I see most of the silvering is wore off. First I'll need to let the power down. The click's right here, and I'll need to hold it in the open position while slowly letting the key unwind. The balance wheel has fairly good motion. Looks like the pivots are in good shape. This screw is the case screw used to take the movement out. When opening these cases, I'd rather use my fingernails instead of a case knife. Fingernails don't leave marks like a case knife can. The dial is unmarked and has some hairline cracks. This shaft moves the hands. I'm going to remove the hands before I remove the movement. Now the case screw. Remove this small screw in the dial. Now to release the dial feet. Oh, it's missing one of the dial feet. minute wheel, hour wheel, this dial foot is intact. The porcelain is damaged around it, and there's fresh exposed copper around the foot. And this dial foot looks like it's been missing for years. There's a brass piece mounted on this side. I don't think this is original to the dial. And on the bottom of the dial, this hole has been elongated. A few chips around it. I don't think this slot is original. The front plate is missing a lot of silver. The mainspring barrel is missing the Geneva drive system. There should be a Maltese cross gear here with a drive wheel mounted on the center of the mainspring arbor. A lot of watch repair people left these off because they didn't understand how to set them back up once removed. And these circular scribe lines are from the watchmaker's compass. This movement was laid out and all drilled by hand. This is the way the first watches were all made, one at a time. And this dimple in the metal here is where the compass pivot point was at one time. On the right of the plate is the matching serial number to the case, 43902. Hour wheel, minute wheel. A lot of history can be read in this piece, if you know what to look for. Balance wheel staff pivots look to be in great shape. Someone has filed the bottom sides of the balance screws while poising the balance. I see they even filed the quarter screws. This would have never been done by an experienced watchmaker. All in all, a very good balance assembly. I'll put a glass cover over it to keep it safe. Now to cycle the pallet fork a couple of times, just to be sure all the power is off of it. I see this screw doesn't match the one in the balance bridge. It might be a replacement. Nice, the pallet fork bridge has the number 2 stamped on it. Not enough room for the whole serial number, so only the last number appears on it. The pallet fork has some rust, but not much for its age. It has 2 jewels nicely inset into it, and they're ground to a mere finish. All hand work on this pallet fork. And this bridge has a 02 stamped on it. It too is a serial number match. This dark ruby jewel is a replacement, put in sometime after the watch was fabricated. The escape wheel has some rust, but pivots look good. The mainspring barrel and bridge, I'll remove the cover for the click. I see it's got a recess filed into it to give clearance to the click. This almost looks like it's made of silver. And the thrust washer. Nice. The click and barrel bridge both have a 02 stamped on them. More matching serial numbers. I'll check the condition of the mainspring. The mainspring is one of the older carbon steel blued springs. And the barrel teeth are badly worn. Here's 4 teeth that have been repaired at one time in the past. If you look closely, you can see a slight difference in the color of the brass. A piece of brass has been dovetailed in, and new teeth were hand filed to fit the originals. They did a nice job. Barely visible unless you know what to look for. It must have had a mainspring break sometime in the past, and took out a couple of teeth. And here's another single tooth that someone put in. This repair was done by drilling a hole in the side of the barrel and inserting a brass dowel. Then the new tooth was hand filed to fit the originals. A little more noticeable repair on this one. And the tooth next to it looks slightly deformed. Punch marks on the plate where the bridge fits up to. This was done to adjust the in shape on the wheels during a repair. I need to remove the cannon pinion to free the center wheel. The cannon pinions on these are the solid type and are tapered to a friction fit on the center wheel shaft. I always use brass to contact the center wheel center. Just a couple of light taps in the staking tool and it'll release. Nice. A little rust, but in good shape. Seems to be several different sizes of screws in the bridges of this watch. And the back side of the center bridge, as well, is marked with a matching serial number. Third wheel looks good. The fourth wheel looks good, except that some of the gold gilt is damaged on it, and the exposed brass is oxidizing. I see the center wheel is all bound up. Must be a lot of old oil buildup on it. It's really snug. Yep, a lot of black gunk on it. Enough to stop the watch. The second wheel jewel looks good. The third wheel jewel is broken. The escape wheel jewel looks like there's a couple chips in it. The pallet fork and balance jewels look good. Well, it's time to contact Greg and see how he wants to proceed on this movement.